Let's face it, sharks have a pretty bad reputation for attacking swimmers and divers. But the truth is, galleophobia, the fear of sharks, is mostly unfounded. From a possible new enemy of the great white to other little-known species, today we're taking a look at 15 of the scariest shark species in the world. Number 15. Oceanic white-tip shark. When it comes to human fatality due to shark attacks, the great white shark gets all the credit. However, it might be time to rethink this title since it's believed that the oceanic white-tip shark has actually killed more humans than the great white. The shark has a telltale white coloring on its pectoral, dorsal, and tail fins. The fins of the shark are one of the most prized ingredients in shark fin soup because their fins are so large. This has led to them being overfished, and as such, the oceanic white-tip shark is currently on the IUCN's critically endangered list. So although they have been known to attack humans, they are legally protected in many areas because they are on the verge of extinction. However, even though they are not as plentiful today as they once were, they are responsible for some pretty horrific events throughout history. The oceanic white-tip shark is known as a major threat to shipwreck victims. They engage in feeding frenzies when they find food, so they'll gather together in large groups and take turns striking and biting off pieces of prey. When the USS Indianapolis warship was torpedoed in 1945, the shipwreck soldiers were attacked by oceanic white-tip sharks. It's estimated that upwards of 800 soldiers were killed in the feeding frenzy. And that same year, when a steamship sunk off the coast of South Africa, the opportunistic white-tip sharks were quick to gather, killing an estimated 1,000 passengers. These are only two examples, but oceanographers, pirates, explorers, and many other persons who frequent a ship were all once very aware of the dangers of the white-tip shark. In fact, Jacques Cousteau declared that he believed this menacing shark to be the most dangerous of all the shark species, even more so than the great white, because the white-tip has killed far more people than the great white. Number 14. Frilled shark. The frilled shark is also often called a living fossil because it really hasn't changed much since prehistoric times. Its name comes from its unique gills. Every other type of shark has separate gills, but the frilled shark's first set of gills extend all the way across its throat and are lined with an unusual red fringe. The frilled shark is not commonly seen by humans. In fact, sightings are so rare it wasn't even discovered until the 19th century. With an eel-like body, the frilled shark looks more like a science fiction beast than it does a shark, and the scary details don't stop with its outward appearance. Frilled sharks bear a mouthful of trident-shaped teeth, 25 rows and 300 in total, to be exact. And even more terrifying is that the teeth are backwards facing, so once prey is in the clutches of a frilled shark's mouth, escape is next to impossible. Now, since it's so elusive, it's never been caught in the act while hunting, but scientists believe it catches prey by lunging at its prey and opening its jaw extra wide. There is evidence to support this theory that the frilled shark can take in prey that's half as long as its own body. It likes to lurk at depths of 4,200 feet and rarely comes to the surface, which is why this terrifying shark remains mysterious when it comes to scientific data. But perhaps we have all the data we need: a terrifying mouth, the ability to swallow half its body length in one go, and a freakish prehistoric beastly appearance. What more do we need to know? Number 13. Whale shark. If the sheer size of this shark isn't enough to send you swimming for the shore, then perhaps the size of its mouth will. The whale shark is the largest fish in the world, hence the whale portion of their name. In fact, they are so large they're often mistaken for whales. This is a misnomer, though. They may be the size of some whales, but they have the temperament and scientific classification of a shark. Whale sharks can reach lengths of 61 feet, which is pretty enormous by shark standards. Furthermore, their mouths can be as wide as 4 feet and contain 3,000 very sharp teeth. However, even though their large mouths could swallow a toddler whole, they're not interested in eating humans. Whale sharks feed off small fish and plankton, and their teeth are actually pretty small, measuring in at about 6 millimeters long. Oddly enough, they don't use their teeth to eat as they are filter feeders. Whale sharks can't bite or chew. Instead, they use their gill rakers as a suction filter, processing more than 6,000 liters of water through their gills. Given their size, they're very slow, traveling at top speeds of about 5 miles an hour. They live in all tropical oceans in the world except the Mediterranean and are known to migrate long distances to find feeding grounds, albeit very slowly. So although their appearance is on the frightening side with their massive bodies and gaping mouths, they don't pose any real threat to humans. Number 12. Wobbegong shark. Affectionately known as wobbies to those in Australia who are used to this type of shark, at first glance the Wobbegong shark does look worthy of a cute nickname. After all, it has some pretty cool coloring, some interesting patterns, and it just sort of seems to slither around on the surface of the ocean floor. In fact, there doesn't seem to be anything shark-like about this shark. But the Wobbegong shark is the perfect example of the old saying, things are not always what they seem. These sharks devour their prey with a quick snap of their mouth. Why chew it when they could just swallow it whole? Wobbegongs prefer to eat their prey in one big gulp. They are known to swallow prey as big as they are. They can do this because they have insanely strong jaws. If their prey is too big to gulp down, though, then they simply leave it in their mouths and wait for it to die. Once it's deceased, they use their razor-sharp teeth to chop off pieces of it. They don't attack humans, but since they live on the ocean floor and can blend in with their surroundings, they are sometimes accidentally stepped on, which causes them to bite. Their bite is very painful and can be pretty severe. Plus, given their sharp teeth, once bitten, it can be really hard to remove this bizarre shark, as many surfers who have found their hands and feet in the harsh grasp of a wobbegong can attest to. It may lack the grandeur and aggressiveness of other scary sharks, but the wobbegong shark is clearly scary in its own right. Now it's time for today's topic. Marine researchers surveying unusual bite marks off the coast of Guadalupe Island thought they were tracking aggressive great whites, until the footage told a different story. Cameras deployed near seal colonies captured a massive predator rising from the blue with concentric rows of jagged teeth, spiraling deep into its mouth. Scientists at Scripps Institution of Oceanography analyzed the video frame by frame, stunned by the anatomy. The jaw structure didn't match any known lamnid shark. Divers reported carcasses sliced cleanly, as if by rotating blades. Researchers cautiously labeled it a previously undocumented apex species, possibly competing with great whites for territory. Fishing crews in the region began avoiding deeper waters, whispering that the ocean had revealed a new rival no one was prepared for. Number 11. Bull shark. It's one thing to encounter a shark in the ocean. We all know the world's oceans have inherent risks when it comes to sharks. But the bull shark adds insult to injury because they swim in both salt water and fresh water. Young bull sharks actually prefer fresh water, but as they mature they like to migrate to saltier seas. They can thrive in both because of something called osmoregulation, which allows them to change the salt-to-water ratio in their bodies. So rivers, lakes, oceans, you name it, the bull shark can lurk anywhere. Unfortunately, this gives them more opportunities to attack humans. In fact, when it comes to fatal shark attacks, the bull shark is one of the top contenders. They're mainly found in the Gulf of Mexico and off the East Coast, and they like to hunt near the shoreline, which poses a threat to beachgoers in these regions. They also like to hunt around the clock, so no matter the time of day or night, you could find yourself in the grips of a bull shark. Plus, they have a more powerful bite than most sharks, including the king of shark fear, the great white. Bull sharks are generally considered to be one of the most dangerous shark species against humans. From 2016 to 2020, there was an average of 72 unprovoked bull shark attacks, with the United States receiving the brunt of them at 42%. Number 10. Tiger shark. Aside from their stripes, tiger sharks have little in common with their feline moniker, except for their vicious nature and their sharp teeth, meant their hunting prowess, and their affinity for humans. Perhaps it would be more prudent to point out their differences. Tiger sharks grow to be about 15 feet long on average and can weigh up to 1,300 pounds. They are the fourth largest shark in the world. They'll eat pretty much anything, including garbage, which they can easily devour thanks to their sharp, serrated teeth. Tiger sharks have been known to munch on a plethora of man-made objects like paint cans, rubber tires, and even license plates, along with other creatures that most sharks won't touch like venomous sea snakes and albatrosses. So they have no problem devouring a human along with their snorkel, flippers, and bathing suit. Hell, they'll even eat the air mattress you were floating on. If that's not freaky, I don't know what is. They love warm tropical waters but are seen in waters all over the world. And given the fact that they can birth an average of 30 pups at a time, these scary sharks are not in short supply. Number 9. Blacktip shark. If you're out splashing around in the ocean and you see a blacktip heading towards you, take heed. The infamous blacktip shark has been responsible for quite a few human attacks. They're only about 5 feet in length and they're easily identifiable by the black tips of their pectoral, dorsal, and tail fins. However, when they're not busy attacking humans, they can put on quite the show thanks to their unique spinning feature. They can launch themselves from the water and literally spin in the air before resubmerging themselves. This causes them to often be mistaken for a spinner shark. They range widely in weight from 66 to 220 pounds, with the females being larger than the males. The blacktip sharks live in coastal waters everywhere in the world, but there are a large number of them all along the Gulf of Mexico as well as around the Pacific Islands all the way to the north coast of Australia. Because they prefer to keep in close proximity to the coast, it's not uncommon for humans to come into contact with the blacktip shark. In Florida alone, the blacktip shark is responsible for 16% of shark attacks. Although they are rarely fatal, the shark isn't overly aggressive, but it will protect its food. So if you see one of these blacktip sharks lurking in nearby waters, you might want to swim the other way. Number 8. Sand tiger shark. Also known as gray nurse sharks or ragged tooth sharks, The sand tiger shark is one of the most commonly spotted sharks because it likes to swim near the shoreline. Not to be confused with a tiger shark, sand tiger sharks have a set of freaky characteristics all unto themselves. For starters, their mouths are full of menacing teeth, which is not that uncommon for a shark, but their teeth are curved, slender, and outward pointing. The design of their teeth is perfect for puncturing the flesh of their prey, especially slippery animals that other sharks have a hard time getting a hold of. And along with that, they have another unique characteristic that adds to their overall fear factor. Sand tiger sharks are capable of gulping air into their stomachs, causing their stomachs to act like air pockets. They use this air pocket to keep afloat, and these sharks can hover around motionlessly, allowing them to go undetected by their prey. They are the only shark that utilizes this air-gulping behavior. They can be as heavy as 350 pounds and grow to about 10 feet long. And they aren't really known to attack humans, but they are known to steal fish from fishermen. Like most sharks, they will attack if they feel threatened, and although the sand tiger shark is not implicated in nearly as many shark attacks as some of the other shark species, looking at you, great white, they have attacked humans from time to time. Number 7. Shortfin mako shark. Aggressive and fast with a powerful bite, the shortfin mako has all the markings of a truly terrifying shark. In fact, they hold the record for the strongest bite by a shark. The strength of their bite is second only to that of a crocodile. So just how strong is their bite? Well, the bite of the shortfin mako has 3,000 pounds of force per square inch. Now, they wouldn't be overly concerning if they were docile or uninterested in humans. The opposite is true, though. The shortfin mako is extremely aggressive. It's also known as the blue pointer or bonito shark. It's the fastest shark in the ocean as well as one of the fastest fish on the planet. I don't know about you, but if I'm going to encounter a shark, I'd much prefer a Greenland shark to a shortfin mako, since a Greenland shark swims painfully slow. A shortfin mako, on the other hand, can swim at top speeds of 45 miles an hour. This is partly thanks to its dermal denticles, its specially formed skin, which make them hydrodynamic. In short, they can swim through water very effectively. They weigh in at an average of about 1,200 pounds and they grow to be about 12 feet long, but their speed, aggression, and powerful bite makes them a real threat to humans. And one look into those bullish black eyes and you can see why this shark should be avoided at all costs. Number 6. Long-nosed saw shark. If you've ever wanted to know what a shark would look like if we attached a giant saw to its head, then look no further than a long-nosed saw shark. These scary sharks literally look like some sort of strange Frankenstein's monster experiment, and their bizarre saw-like snout has been a source of fascination and terror for hundreds of years. Their snouts are covered in large teeth on both sides, and this species is the one shark species to have this type of snout. They live in most oceans in the world, and as if their odd saws weren't strange enough, they actually have special organs on their saw parts. The organs are called ampullae of Lorenzini, and they're used to detect the electromagnetic fields of their prey. Once they've pinned down the location of their prey, they use their saws to swipe at it and immobilize it. Now, around 4 to 5 feet in length and weighing upwards of 20 pounds, they live in warm ocean waters and can be found all over the world. The long-nosed saw shark is just one of 7 species of saw shark, and they're known for being aggressive. They live in deep water, so if the sight of the scary shark with its protruding saw has you worried, don't stress. It's highly unlikely for humans to encounter them. However, just knowing that there are sharks swimming around with giant saws for snouts that they use to strike at prey could be enough to send someone teetering on the verge of galleophobia over the edge. Number 5. The great hammerhead shark. The great hammerhead shark is aptly named, since their heads literally look like hammers. At first glance, they look like something that may be more well-suited for a video on the world's most comical-looking sharks. But these sharks have been responsible for recorded attacks on humans, so don't let their funny-looking heads fool you. There are at least 10 different species of hammerhead sharks, all with that same weird head, but the great hammerhead shark is the largest that we know of. The shark lives in warm waters, and unlike most sharks which prefer the solo lifestyle, the hammerhead shark likes the company of friends. They live in schools. What makes that unusual head even more fascinating is that it isn't just for show. It dramatically enhances their sensory perception. Their eyes are positioned at the far ends of the hammer, giving them nearly 360-degree vision and excellent depth perception. Even more impressive, the wide head is packed with electroreceptors that allow the shark to detect the faint electrical signals emitted by hidden prey buried in the sand. This means a stingray can be completely concealed beneath the ocean floor and still be detected by a passing hammerhead. Scientists believe this head shape also improves maneuverability, helping the shark make sharp turns while chasing fast-moving prey. When schools of hammerheads gather, sometimes in groups of hundreds, the sight can be both mesmerizing and deeply intimidating. Despite their social behavior, great hammerheads are highly dominant predators and are known to turn aggressive if provoked. The shark also likes to stay close to the ocean floor, where it scours for stingrays, which is its favorite meal. Apparently, it uses that weirdly shaped head to hammer the stingray repeatedly into the floor of the ocean. The stingray gets tired from the hammering, which makes it easier for the shark to eat. Oddly enough, the shark is immune to stingray barbs, though it has no problem munching down on this widely feared oceanic creature. A shark with a hammer-shaped head that eats stingrays. Need I say more? Number 4. Megamouth shark. The chances of seeing a megamouth shark on your next scuba dive are next to nil, so it's not the fear factor of human attacks that makes this shark terrifying. In fact, the shark is so elusive we didn't even know it existed until 1976. The first specimen was caught by a U.S. Navy research vessel off the coast of Hawaii, and since its initial discovery, there have been less than 100 other specimens found. So unlike other sharks in this video which are scary because they eat people, the megamouth shark invokes a completely different type of fear. It literally has a megamouth. The shark is similar to the basking shark and the whale shark in that they are filter feeders, but the megamouth is really big. What makes this species even more mysterious is how rarely it appears near the surface, often rising only at night to feed in shallower waters. Satellite tagging of a few individuals has revealed a daily vertical migration pattern, with the sharks descending into deep darkness during daylight hours. Their soft bodies and flabby skin give them a strangely prehistoric look, as if they belong to a much older chapter of marine evolution. Unlike the sleek torpedo shape of great whites, the megamouth's bulk and wide, rubbery lips create an almost cartoonish yet unsettling profile. Each new sighting becomes a global scientific event, reminding researchers how much of the ocean remains unexplored and poorly understood. Carcasses washed up on shore have measured anywhere from 7 to 25 feet. The shark has 50 rows of teeth, but it doesn't use them all. Only the first 3 rows are functional, and it uses those rows to eat krill. To feed, the shark opens its massive mouth and pushes out its jaw. Then it expands its buccal cavity to suck in all of its prey. From there, it simply expels the leftover water through its gills. Seeing how this shark species is a fairly recent discovery, there isn't a whole lot known about this shark, but pictures of the specimens caught are unnerving, to say the least. Number 3. Basking shark. As the second largest species of shark, anyone would feel frightened if one of these giant sharks came swimming their way. Basking sharks can reach a length of 39 feet long, and are known for their supersized mouth and gills. They're sometimes called elephant sharks because of their long snout. And while the sight of this massive shark might have you rethink your deep dive off the boat, the basking shark is actually harmless to humans. If you don't include its appearances in nightmares, that is. These sharks have 1,500 teeth, with their upper jaw containing 6 rows and the bottom jaw with 9. Despite this intimidating dental display, their teeth are tiny and play almost no role in feeding, since basking sharks survive by filtering plankton from the water. As they cruise slowly through nutrient-rich currents, specialized gill rakers trap microscopic prey, allowing the shark to process thousands of gallons of water every hour. Their enormous mouths act like biological nets, scooping up dense clouds of zooplankton that bloom near the ocean's surface. From below, the silhouette of a basking shark gliding with its jaws agape can look terrifyingly predatory, even though it is peacefully grazing on some of the smallest organisms in the sea. Scientists have tracked some individuals traveling vast distances between feeding grounds, revealing that these gentle giants migrate far more extensively than once believed. Their mouths can measure 3 feet wide when fully open, and they often swim with their mouths wide open. So yeah, a small, unassuming human like a toddler or baby could easily fit inside that mouth. Rest assured, though, they have small throats so the human can't be swallowed. But still, the mouth is freakishly large. Watching the shark swim along with a 3-foot mouth wide open is enough to make me swim the other way. Basking sharks like to stay near the surface in the summer, but in the winter they take to deeper waters, with the ability to dive more than 3,000 feet down. They're also able to breach and are the largest species of shark that's able to do so. They can be found swimming solo, in pairs, or on some occasions in groups of 100 or more. Even so, the only real threat they pose to people is capsizing boats, which they have done in the past. Chances aren't high, though, since the basking shark is currently an endangered species with only around an estimated 10,000 currently in existence. Number 2. Goblin shark. Look at the freaky appearance of the goblin shark, and you can clearly see why this ungodly-looking shark has made this list. Often likened to some sort of prehistoric beast, the goblin shark has an unforgettable face. It could be found in the Pacific, Indian, and Atlantic Oceans, although its highest concentration is off the coast of Japan. The shark is named after Japanese folklore demon called a tengu, because its snout is similar to the long nose of the demon. It's not common to see a goblin shark since they like it deep. They prefer depths of 900 to 4,300 feet. And because they live so deep down there, the shark is shrouded in mystery. Most of what we know about them comes from rare accidental catches in deep-sea fishing nets or brief encounters with submersibles. Their pale pink skin, almost translucent in appearance, reveals a network of blood vessels beneath, giving them a ghostly glow in the darkness. Unlike many fast, muscular sharks, goblin sharks move sluggishly, conserving energy in the cold, high-pressure depths where food can be scarce. Their elongated snout is packed with electroreceptors, allowing them to sense the faint electrical signals produced by hidden prey. When scientists first observed their feeding mechanism in slow-motion footage, they were stunned by how dramatically the jaws extend forward like a spring-loaded trap. This extreme jaw protrusion is far more exaggerated than in most other shark species, making it one of the most specialized hunting adaptations in the ocean. Each new specimen captured offers only a glimpse into a species that has likely changed very little over millions of years. For example, no one knows for sure what exactly this scary shark uses its bizarre snout for. Some believe it's used to retrieve food from narrow underwater crevices, while others think it might be used to pick up electrical signals of prey. In any case, when the goblin shark is hunting, it does something called slingshot feeding. It's able to throw its whole mouth forward at a distance that's equal to 9% of its body length. Furthermore, it does this very quickly at a speed of about 10 feet per second, and its mouth can open to a 111-degree angle. Needless to say, you wouldn't want to get in the way of this demon shark, since it can literally fully engulf a creature in the blink of an eye. Number 1. The Great White Shark. This list of the top 15 scary shark species shouldn't come as any surprise. Behold, the Great White Shark, the most aggressive shark in the world and the inspiration from the beloved horror classic Jaws. Great whites can grow as long as 20 feet, and their mouths are loaded with super sharp teeth. And these teeth are massive. Some teeth can get as long as 2.5 inches. The sheer size and sharpness of their teeth allows them to bite off 30 pounds of meat in just one bite. What truly sets them apart, however, is not just their bite, but their intelligence and calculated hunting strategy in open water. Researchers have observed great whites studying their prey from below, using the sunlight above to silhouette unsuspecting seals against the bright surface. In places like South Africa's Seal Island, they have been filmed launching themselves completely out of the ocean in explosive ambush attacks. This breaching behavior is not random. It requires precise timing, immense power, and an understanding of their target's movements. Their bodies are perfectly engineered for this, with torpedo-shaped frames and powerful crescent tails that generate astonishing bursts of acceleration. Even seasoned divers admit that locking eyes with a great white underwater is an experience that sends an instinctive chill down the spine. These great whites prefer cooler waters and like to keep close to the coast. They're also the largest predatory fish on the planet and can swim at speeds of 60 kilometers an hour. They also have an insanely strong sense of smell. For example, they can smell a drop of blood in 100 liters of water, or the scent of a seal up to 2 miles away. Great whites love to munch on seals, sea lions, and even small whales. They are skilled hunters, attacking by lurking underneath their prey and then swimming up. It's not uncommon for them to breach with their prey in their mouths before descending back into the water to devour their meal. And while their diet consists mostly of salty waterbound creatures, they have attacked more than their fair share of people over the years. However, they are responsible for roughly 5 to 10 human attacks per year. It's unclear if they have acquired a taste for human flesh or if they're just taking a sample bite out of curiosity, but in either case, they are inarguably the most feared shark around. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.